Lightning, sustainable, restorative dialogue. And we welcome unapologetically progressive viewpoints that empower fellow citizens. We are now accepting submissions for KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorials like this one.
For the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley show conversation with James Farr. James said something that caught me off guard. Black Altadena is gone. My community is being murdered. I said murdered.
All you have to do is go to our website homepage at KBLA1580.com and click on the icon that says KBLA Guest Editorials to learn more about our editorial standards and content submission guidelines. As long as the topic aligns with our mission, we are happy to review your submission and consider it for broadcast. We can't make any promises, but we want to amplify progressive perspectives that are community-focused and solution-oriented. So, go to KBLA1580.com right now to download all the information you need about our guest editorials. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Full force.
But can you cook good? Can you read, or is your brain like wood? Do you have sex or do you make love? How do you live? Do you give it? Do you take love? Girl, you're so fine. Could you be mine? Or do I slack in the back of a whip with whack line? Yeah, the fruit looks right, but that ain't my type of. Yeah, right. At your age, not the size of those pants you wear, so tight. You get in there, walk around with your head up in the sky.
Welcome in. Happy Monday. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. You are relaxed. You got your snacks, a beverage, and you are ready to get into these trending topics and headlines because you know we are coming off the weekend, and that means the foolishness level is high. So tonight, first up, Andy's always on theme. And since we're talking about Full Force, I hope he plays something from Full Force's first album later. I'll tell you why. But we are getting into Full Force tonight. And of course, most people are familiar with Full Force from their role in House Party as the Three Bullies and from this particular song from the dance scene. And if you're new to this show, I'm also going to share a piece of pop culture history that is attached to this. House Party featured a lot of people early in their careers. Tisha was fairly early in her career. We know she was on Broadway for a long time. Tashina Arnold, same thing. Martin, why is Andy grabbing the mic? We also, as far as the dancers go, right? One of Janet's top dancers was early in that film. A guy named Oliver Crooms, he was featured in Madonna's Truth or Dare. He was the only black straight dancer on that tour. And, there also was a young radio host who was also a dancer, who was in the background on several of your favorite scenes. This scene included. So shout out to House Party. They recently, we talked about this a few days ago, celebrated their 35th anniversary last March. So it's been 35 years since that is dropped. Do with that information what you will. So we're going to be getting into some things with Full Force, but shout out to House Party because, some of your favorite people were featured in that, including me. All right, so we are also getting into Des Bryant and Nicki Minaj took internet antics to Mortal Kombat levels over the weekend. I don't even understand why this went down, but it got kind of deep and then it's not. But it's just a continuing string of Nicki wilding out. But I also want to ask, is this the only way she can really get her point across? considering what she's alleging. We'll talk about it a little bit. And lastly, well, not lastly, we're going to talk about some other things. Claudia Jordan added a little fire to the fuel of the speculation behind Coach Prime and Karrueche when she dropped some tea on her podcast. So we are going to get into all of that tonight. But before we do, I like to start the night off with a couple of conversation starters, just things that you need to be aware of that are buzzing all around the ethos. So last week, Sha'Carri Richardson, track star that she is, Olympic track star, was arrested in Seattle at the Tacoma International Airport following an incident with her boyfriend, fellow track star Christian Coleman. Right? And according to the police report, there seems to have been some sort of verbal disagreement between the couple at TSA. And the argument got a little heated, and Richardson allegedly shoved Coleman multiple times as he attempted to walk away from her. Right? And he fell into a column. After viewing security footage, police also saw her throw a pair of headphones at him and arrested her on 4th-degree domestic violence assault. Obviously, if you have not heard, her boyfriend, Coleman, Christian Coleman, giving last name because sports thing, he decided not to press charges, right? And so we thought that was it. But despite the arrest, Sha'Carri competed in the opening round of the 100 meters at the U.S. Championships in Eugene, Oregon. And she's still set to appear at the World Championships this September in Tokyo. But of course, because we're in the reversal, like we're playing Uno, people want to know why the situation is being taken lightly. I don't know where you stand on that, but, I think if he doesn't want to press charges, you got to let it go, right? It might have just been a heated moment. He wasn't seriously hurt. Not saying that it's okay or it's good, but what do you do? I don't think that there is a cause at this time, with the information that is available to us, for her to be suspended from any activities. But some people are pointing to this as a long string of incidents that have happened with Sha'Carri. But I wish her nothing but the best and, continue to move forward. Also, Tank, he's speaking out. He says that the Aaliyah song that you're hearing featuring him, he did it out of love for her. He had concerns. He expressed them. Down to the visuals. He said he still went forward knowing that he would at least be able to approve the final products. He says he hasn't approved a thing and that he wants to make it clear that he wasn't involved in the final product of this process. And he says his silence would only imply that the support is there for this project, and it isn't. So shout out to Tank, man. Shout out to everybody. I really sometimes think that we need to leave the music where it is and appreciate the music that was released. I understand why we want more, especially from someone that was taken away from us at so young at 23. But a lot of times there's a reason why we haven't heard this music. When we come forward, we're going to get into all the trending topics and headlines and not now, but later, I'm giving away a pair of tickets to see Babyface and Charlie Wilson at the Hollywood Bowl. The Hollywood Bowl. All that and more on the other side.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Want to extend that barbershop shave at home? Try Gillette Skin Guard, designed specifically for men who battle shaving irritation. With this irritation defense bar, 2 comfort blades, and a touch of aloe, it helps avoid shaving bumps and irritation, leaving me looking my best. Clean, fresh look, especially between barber visits. Tailored for black men, it's easy to use and offers the comfort my skin deserves. Stay confident between cuts with Gillette Skin Guard.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach? Transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal? Prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You know how this goes down. If at any point you want to join our conversation, 800-920-1580. We're also on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill. Holla at your girl, say hi. And, of course, we have a new app. Download the app. It is fresh, fun, has a bunch of new things for you. You can leave us messages. You can catch up on past episodes, all of that good stuff. And, of course, join the YouTube chat. They're already in there getting it popping. There's a lot of conversation that happens there, and we love the chat. So those are all the ways that you can reach out. Now, let's talk Lisa, Full Force, the biopic fallout, and a legacy debate. So the biopic aired a few months back, I believe, and you know, this is a little freestyle history. Freestyle meaning the style of music, the genre. And present day omissions, shall we call it. So Lisa and Cult Jam were one of the biggest groups to emerge from the Latin freestyle scene, right? Back in the 80s. Latin Quarters, I believe that was one of the clubs' names that was popping in New York. I don't know. I had never been to New York in my life at that point. I was much too young, but I heard, right? But we do know that Lisa and Cult Jam hit in about 84, 85 with I Wonder If I Take You Home. But before they even arrived on the scene, Lisa was picked out, by Full Force and tapped to lead this group. However, that wasn't reflective of the biopic that we saw. So Full Force was recently on The Breakfast Club talking about Unity Day, which was last weekend in New York and Brooklyn. And they were asked the question about being omitted from the biopic. And their response was really deep and layered. 3 of the members were there. If you don't know, these 3 were brothers, the ones that were B-Fine, Bow-Legged Lou, and I can't remember the last brother's name, but they were the 3 that were featured in House Party. Full Force, the group, is 6 members. They had a solo album, which I loved, by the way. And they were producers, right? So they created this group. They'll go into the story. And they also later on produced, when they kind of aged out of groups and things of that nature, of being a group per se, they produced hits for, your Britney Spears, and I can't remember if it was NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, a lot of pop acts. They also went overseas and produced a lot of acts and artists over there, some of the K-pop sound even. So they were locked in with Johnny Wright. So, and let's give you a little bit of history, because I like to do that. Basketball, Curtis Blow, Full Force produced that. Roxanne, UTFO, Full Force produced that. Ghost produced by Howie T, if you listen to the, backstory. But I think that they're a group that is often easy to overlook, or people just focus on them being bullies in both Crush Groove, which dropped in 85. I love me some Crush Groove. And House Party, obviously, which came out 5 years later. And I think their musical legacy is often just kind of dumped, even though they were really pivotal in some ways for some of our favorite sounds. And, especially what they did for Lisa and Cult Jam, it is interesting that they were omitted from the film. But let's hear from themselves what they had to say.
The Lisa biopic, you guys not being included in it, people were really upset about that. How did you guys feel personally, though?
What happened is that at the time, I didn't know there was any type of negativity or anything like that until I saw Lisa and Tony Minaj, who's her manager, do interviews together. Yeah. But as far as the movie, we weren't in it. It's their movie. Tony and Lisa, they executive produced it. In interviews, they said, well, Cult Jam and Full Force, everybody's confused. That was the reasoning. They said that they didn't mention Full Force because people would get confused with Cult Jam and Full Force. And that's why they did, which was kind of...
as a collective, we all have different personalities through us, but we come together. Yeah. I'm a little more direct in your face. It was okay, that's what it was. How can you do something like that without us? Yeah. Okay? But I understand what they did, but it was just... I know Lisa wasn't going to go too over the top. Her and I always had a special bond. That's why she wore a headband like me all the time. But I mean, some stuff just doesn't make sense. You can still get a point across without shoveling the... You know what I mean? So be that as it may.
Being that Lisa, the whole thing, that was a concept of mine. The whole thing to bring that into fruition. Oh yeah.
The biopic?
Lisa, period.
Oh.
It's just a shame that they did a story that didn't show how Lisa came to be at all. Being in New York, the Hispanic population with us was like this melting pot. And I don't feel like it really showed that. It really showed that type of culmination on how Lisa was picked and why she was picked and how important she is to these young Hispanic girls. At that time, it was just Menudo. Yeah. Before Jennifer Lopez, before Expose, before all of it was Lisa.
Right.
But that was intentional because there was nothing out at that time.
It's beyond safe to say there would be no Lisa without Full Force.
Oh, no
not just you picking her, the songs y'all wrote. I wanted to take you home. All cried out head to toe.
Yeah, we already had the sound. Now we're just looking for the right artist to put in it.
When they came up with I Wonder If I Take You Home, right? And the song was already done, he was so adamant that it must be a Latino girl to do it. So yeah, Full Force, it wasn't for Full Force, there wouldn't be no Lisa, but B right from the jump knew that he wanted to be a Latin girl.
So there is a lot there, but I think it is important to note that, again, we always talk about different times, but especially if you're talking about New York in the 80s, and hip hop, there's a lot of overlap between the Black and Latino community, which at that period of time were called Hispanic. Excuse his outdated language, happens. But it is important to note, like, Lisa auditioned for Full Force when she was about 14, and that was in 83. It led to her signing a contract with CBS Records. Full Force produced all but one of Lisa and Cult Jam's hits, right? Mike Hughes and Alex Mosley were the other two members of the group. I believe it was Be Fine that was introduced by Mike to Lisa. That's how that went down. And they've also expressed disappointment with the film's perceived inaccuracies and downplaying their role in the group's success. Right? So it brings up a bigger question surrounding biopics. Everyone and everything can't possibly be included, but they were key. Literally, the start, the middle of her career, and to leave them out, it seems shameful. But the other side of it, right, when we're talking about groups, women performers, oftentimes women in music, the focus is on the men that supposedly shaped them, and sometimes their agency, I feel, can be left out of the story. So it's both of their stories. Perspective is everything. And I understand how, you know, she might have felt that she was telling a different story, more of her journey, not just with music, even though that was the main part. I don't know. You know, it's a complicated thing, because how often do collaborators get erased and overlooked? And we have those conversations about it not being fair. But in a situation where you're telling your own story or involved, I don't know. Andy?
I don't know if this was in Full Force's trajectory, but I feel like this is an opportunity for them to tell their story, maybe create their own biopic. I mean, you broke down some information that I didn't know at all.
About them as a group?
100%.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was some history. That was some black history right there, especially from a music perspective. Now I want to go ahead and tap in. So I just feel like it's an opportunity for them to actually go ahead and tell their story.
I think it is. I think the concern sometimes is, one, you know, we have the conversation, and I'm not saying that theirs might not be fascinating, but does everyone need a biopic or a documentary? I am not saying that they don't. I am just saying there's lots of things that we suffer fatigue from, but how important to the community, to the mass, to the audience is their story. I feel that there are things that they could learn from it, but overall, do we care? You know?
I hear you, but I also think, like, just seeing, you know, people that look like me and you, right? And creating music in other genres. You thinking it's just nothing but white folk in that genre. No, it was some black folk.
Oh, as far as like K-pop and stuff like that?
100%. I think that's freaking dope, considering how huge K-pop is.
I mean, here's the real with that. I mean, Johnny Wright had a lot to do with that. That's the guy that managed the Backstreet Boys and was involved with New Kids on the Block and stuff like that. Or was he involved with New Kids on the Block? Maybe not. But he was definitely involved with Backstreet Boys. But a lot of the start of that music was from producers or writers who maybe weren't hitting over here at the moment, maybe hadn't found their connection, and went to, you know, Korea, Japan, and created music for these artists who had grown up in the hip-hop era, in the boy band era, looking at the product and wanting to emulate it. So they went to the source. So if you don't like it, you kind of have nobody to blame but the people that created it originally.
I mean, I just think that's a story to tell. And I just feel like it should serve as a source of inspiration for some people. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it might not hit over here, but if I can get the bag overseas, they're going to rock with me. You know what I mean? Like, there could be somebody from the hood who's probably just not even thinking about going overseas and doing music, and they're over there making beats, and he's probably passing his music out to his homies. His homies is like, well, maybe if you go to China, just saying.
Go connect someplace. Yep. Royal Jenkins in the chat says Full Force has an unsung documentary on TV One. Morris Phillips says it's like talking about slavery without talking about European Americans. You can't separate some things. I agree with that. And Royal Jenkins also said Lisa and Full Force were in that Martin Luther King song video in the 1980s. Yeah. Everybody in the place sing, celebrate. I can't sing. I mean, I can a little bit, but not right now. Fat Boys were in that video too. New Edition, Curtis Blow. I remember that Whitney Houston was in that video. So shout out to that. Okay, so listen, I mean, now is the time. They are talking about, they did mention that they were trying to have conversation about some type of reunion show with Lisa and Cult Jam and all of them perform, I think that would be good, because I really feel like outside of Ain't My Type of Hype, people aren't familiar with Full Force musically, so they think, right? I mean, the original of All Cried Out, that was one of the brothers singing the duet with Lisa. So there we goes. All right, listen, when we come forward, Nicki Minaj, we are going to get into remix beef to Twitter beef. This one took a hard left. And I'm just saying, Des Bryant and Nicki Minaj, who had that on their bingo card? And let me tell you, when Nicki swings, because she said some things to him that I was just like, wow, that's inappropriate. But it's Nicki, and it's all under the guise of her not being paid her due, her not being paid her respect, so to speak. I want to know, is it frustration? Do we think that Nicki is just frustrated with the politics and the industry games that happen behind the scenes? Things that we may not know about firsthand that have impacted her or maybe did in the past. And she's just tired of it. And so she's just fighting with the only real tool she has, social media. Or is she just being a crazy crybaby? I don't know. We'll talk about it when we come forward. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. News, traffic, and sports up next.
Would you still be in love, baby? Because I need you tonight. Your love is take it home. Lately, you've been expressing to me just how much you want to make love. I want it just as much as you do.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. School is starting in Texas, and for some kids, there's a new lesson plan, the so-called Blue Bonnet curriculum, which is backed by conservatives.
I know that South San Antonio ISD has said that they are going to take up the Blue Bonnet curriculum because word is getting around that this is a huge success.
Courtney Bagley with the Texas Public Policy Foundation said Bible verses help kids understand where things like the phrase Good Samaritan come from. The ACLU suggests school districts that use Blue Bonnet are opening themselves up to lawsuits. COVID-19 cases are rising in the U.S. Data from the CDC suggests the virus is trending up in many mid-Atlantic, southeast, southern, and west coast states. And Erykah Badu is kicking off a tour this fall. It'll begin October 3rd in Hollywood. Tickets are available now. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Rancho Cucamonga, Big Rig Fire, 15 southbound before Baseline, blocking the two right lanes. The drive is slammed, getting away from the 210 freeway. We're heading now to the drive in downtown LA with a stall 110 northbound at Washington Boulevard, blocking the left lane. Delays from Exposition. Also, let's head out to the 101. We're right there around the corner. So southbound delays, they are slowing in Hollywood from Sunset Boulevard into downtown Los Angeles, and Mid-City 10 eastbound delays from the 405 all the way to the 5.
Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and more for a child in poverty. And there are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams are facing another injury concern with quarterback Matthew Stafford. Stafford is planning to see a back specialist to get a better idea of the soreness he's been feeling in his back since the start of training camp last week. The 37-year-old Stafford has not participated in any of the Rams' workouts at Loyola Marymount. At the moment, the Rams' backup quarterbacks are Jimmy Garoppolo and Stetson Bennett. The Rams have about a month to see if Stafford will be ready for their season opener September 7th against Houston at SoFi Stadium. The NCAA is not expanding its tournament bracket for men's and women's basketball, a proposal had been submitted to expand the field from 64 teams to 72 or 76 for the coming season. Top 5 schools in the preseason college football poll: Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Georgia, and Notre Dame. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we aim to foster enlightening, sustainable, restorative dialogue, and we welcome unapologetically progressive viewpoints that empower fellow citizens. We are now accepting submissions for KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorials like this one.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley Show conversation with James Falk. James said something that caught me off guard. Black Altadena is gone. My community is being murdered. I said murdered.
All you have to do is go to our website homepage at KBLA1580.com and click on the icon that says KBLA Guest Editorials to learn more about our editorial standards and content submission guidelines. As long as the topic aligns with our mission, we are happy to review your submission and consider it for broadcast. We can't make any promises, but we want to amplify progressive perspectives that are community-focused and solution-oriented. So, go to KBLA1580.com right now to download all the information you need about our guest editorials. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent, and the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
No warrant, no key. Fly privacy. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights.
Hey, we all got rights. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
R.I.P. to B.I.G. Classic. I'm looking for a nigga to give some babies. A handful of Wheezy, sprinkle of Dave East. Man, I ain't got no type like Jimmy and Sway Lee's. But if he can't fuck 3 times a night, piss. I tried to fuck 50 for a powerful hour, but all I wanna do is talk power for hours. Beat the poopy up, make sure it's a KO. Step your banks up like you moving that yayo. Somebody go and make sure Karrueche okay though. I heard she think I'm trying to get a Quavo. They always wanna beat it up, goon up the poop. Man, maybe I should let them auto-tune up the poop. All these Bow Wow challenge niggas lying and shit. Many Spetty Watt stay eyeing my shit. Drake worth 100 million, always buying me shit. But I don't know if the poop red though if he crying and shit. Meek still be in my DMs, I be having to duck him. I used to pray for times like this. Face errors when I fuck him. Man, Uzi is my baby, he ain't taking the L. But he took it literally when I said go to hell. Used to fuck with Young Thug, I ain't addressing this shit.
Dreams, whether it's Biggie or Nicki, nah. Let's start with that. Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. You know Andy's always on theme. You know, I miss when it was just about the music with Nicki. And I bet Nicki misses those times too because she was the only female rapper and, you know, life was good. And I'm sure life is good now, although, like I mentioned before, we are witnessing Nicki wild out on X, Instagram Live, Station Head sometimes, all the various things. No music though, but it's Nicki, right? So the other night, I don't even know where to begin with this thing with Des Bryant because I really don't understand why it happened. I think Des was just trying to get something off his chest about Cowboys owner Jerry Jones when the Queen of the Barbs entered the chat, right? And it kind of went downhill from there. It started when Des, who is formerly rep by who? Rock Nation Sports, he tweeted, "I don't think it's smart to mention my name. I kept quiet about a lot of unfair stuff. We can have story time if that's what we're doing, right?" Nicki Minaj replied with, "Hey, it's Nicki Minaj. How about we play a game?" She then offered to spill Rock Nation and Jay-Z tea for every Jerry Jones story Des tells. Des initially responded playfully, "I'm a fan. I'm not playing games with her." But things escalated quickly when Nicki brought up Dez's past domestic dispute with his mother, right? A case that never resulted in jail time or conviction. And Des clapped back hard, referencing Kenneth Petty's criminal record, and he added, "Go get that $10 million in cash. I'll stomp that ninja out right in front of you, and it's rock for life, broad." Des later posted, you know, I added my own adjectives. You guys rock with me, right? Des posted a public apology later, you know, to his fans saying, "I let the devil win that time. I apologize to the kids who follow me," right? At this point, Rock Nation might want to host a versus in the ring, not on the timeline. I don't know. But Nicki's taking shots at Rock Nation however she can get them. Innocent bystanders, they get ran over. If she even thinks or suspects that is in the atmosphere, she's going to jump in with it. And I believe it's Ray Daniels, I think that's his name, he's on a podcast, he says, well, he gets clipped up saying a lot of controversial things about the music industry. He's worked in it for a very long time. And he mentioned how Nicki, you know, is a strong businesswoman, or at least she was. There's a question mark for some on that. But she's been through a lot, and she held hip-hop down as the only woman really standing out on her own for quite a bit of time. Some may feel like that's her problem. However, people always talk about how big Jay-Z is, how big Rock Nation is. There are a lot of things attributed to them, true or false, that can be sort of a difficult position if you are someone who feels that you are wronged by this incredibly large corporation and company. So what Nicki does have is millions and millions and millions of followers on social media that can help to press the issue, I guess, to put pressure on. We've seen, and some people are making this comparison, Monique utilize the same tactic. We've seen others use this to sort of get at least an audience with the party that they're trying to attract their attention, or a payment or a settlement. I don't know. But if you look at it from that lens, right, is there some validity to her actions? Because, I mean, I have been of the mindset, go handle it in court, Nicki. Go and get a competent lawyer, file a suit, go through the contract, show us where. Not the Dr. Seuss riddles, the cow jumped over the moon was holding my cheese is gone from my bank. I mean, I don't know. But we have seen multiple times when the voiceless have utilized their social media reach to get some parity. So, Andy, go. What were you going to say? That's what you were going to say?
I mean, she's utilizing her influence. You know what I mean? The court of public opinion. It's one thing for me to go ahead and go the legal route. But I think if I can get the court of public opinion to be on my side, and then if I decide to go the legal route, like, you can't push back on what everybody else feels and thinks and believes.
I mean, maybe. We'll see. I think, though, at a certain point, even if you were using social media as a tool, you have to take some sort of tangible action, something that shows your work, per se. Because, I mean, now we're a little more lucid, a little more slippery. You can make accusations about things and leave them hanging in the air with no proof. And people are like, cool. Excuse me. But I just feel like some of the accusations that she is making, once again, pretty intense. So I would like to see something, you know, other than they did me wrong and they stole from me. Because as we watched with the Diddy trial and even with Jay-Z himself, people will claim a lot of things in the name of money, an opportune time, or a grift. And that's not to say the individuals haven't done anything to put themselves in a position to be vulnerable for that with some of their actions. But at what point do we got to put it on the glass?
Considering the industry and the stories that you hear since forever about how shady the industry is, and you have an individual who's a part of the industry, you don't think her experiences have any like strong credence?
I mean, I think that there are a lot of things. I feel like I'm always taking the defense of these people, and I don't mean to. But I have seen things where you can interpret an action one way, right? And that's the way you may see it. You may feel that in your very heart. But the other side of that, they didn't do it for that reason. That may not matter to you because it just happened, but you're overlooking some key other issues that contributed to you now being maybe persona non grata, or why A, B, and C did not happen. So perspective is a lot. Context matters. Nuance matters. That's why I say kind of put it out there or make some legal stake, because otherwise we can't follow the story. And sure, I know people do bad things, and you know, we've known Diddy's reputation. I'm sorry to keep going back to Diddy, but we knew his reputation for forever. But does that mean that he did this particular thing? Not necessarily. And even though I know we all believe in karma and we talk about it, well, you know, you never know how it's going to hit and you get what you concern. But at the same time, those type of things still impact our, you know, imprison rate and all of these things, the biases that show up in court and in the system and things like that. So that is why you kind of push for equal treatment, so that in theory, right, the innocent are protected and the guilty are in some ways protected too, to a degree. But in order to protect the innocent, sometimes you got to cover some of those guilty people. I don't know.
Question, Joe.
Yes.
You went to college?
Of course.
What'd you study?
Communications.
Man, you should have went for a law degree.
You know, listen, I thought about that, but I talked to my dad about it, and he was like, you want to make a lot of money? I was, you know it. And he was like, what type of lawyer do you want to be? And I was like, defense attorney. And he was like, you're not going to make any money.
Dang,
because at that time, like now we have superstar clients and superstar defense lawyers.
Right.
You know, we hadn't even had OJ yet. These celebrity trials, these people with money, he said most people that need defending aren't going to have the money to pay for the type of lifestyle that you want to lead. So think about it. And I did. And I knew I wanted to work in the music industry anyway, but that's another story for another day.
Well, look, if they tap into Jill Munroe every day, Monday through Friday here on KBLA, they're going to get some free legal counsel. Because you be defending these cats like a
I'm
nut.
not
I give you that.
defending them.
No, you're defending
I am
the
defending
truth, right?
the truth. Like, I believe, and I would like to believe that in theory, I mean, we see it fail all the time, but that our system of democracy, innocent until proven guilty, and how that process lays out should work.
Man.
It should. Now, it doesn't. But, I mean, the reality is sometimes you got to cover some of these dirty spots in order to protect us all, because we would all be like, how many times are we livid about these people being, by these people I mean individuals that have been arrested, wrongly convicted or overcharged or accused of something, or just regular people, not the Diddys of the world, but their cases, these things that they do sometimes help set precedent. I don't know. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. We're talking Claudia Jordan and Karrueche, and maybe the letter that Diddy's ex sent to the court on his behalf. All that and more coming up.
Your ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Become a U.S. citizen with the help of the Los Angeles Public Library. Get free and confidential information on immigration and citizenship. Visit lapl.org/NAI to find your nearest library, or call us at 213-228-7390. That's lapl.org/NAI or 213-228-7390. And start your path to becoming a U.S. citizen with the help of the Los Angeles Public Library. Call 213-228-7390 or visit lapl.org/NAI.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent, and the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
No warrant, no key. Privacy. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights.
Hey, we all got rights.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Okay, really quick. We talked about Karrueche popping up in the Deion Sanders vlog about his cancer bladder surgery. Karrueche was there to support him. Deion has dodged questions as to whether they're in a relationship. Karrueche is still on vacation doing the normal things that she does, promoting Ruchi Beauty, being a girl. And recently, Claudia Jordan, she formerly of Fox Soul, she now has a new podcast. And on it, she dropped a little bit of tea. She shared that she is friends with Tracey Edmonds and that Tracey confronted Karrueche. Well, I shouldn't say confronted. That's not the right word. She asked Karrueche, were the rumors true about she and Deion? This happened around February. Spoiler alert, Deion and Tracey broke up maybe a year ago, less than that. I can't remember. They put out nice little pleasantries about the relationship. Tracey clarified that she was the one that left the relationship. They were together for 12 years, I think engaged for about 4 or 5. And Tracey's a producer, right? She also has hired Karrueche for several projects. Karrueche was on Games That People Play the last couple of seasons when Lauren London had to take her reprieve. So the assumption is that they were friends at one point, friendly, or at the very least, boss and hiree relationship. So was Karrueche out of line? This is what Claudia had to say.
Deion Sanders has been dropping videos about his cancer battle, and from the looks of it, he's flying solo.
That is not true. Claudia.
What should I say? What do you think?
Nothing.
Somebody better say something.
Listen, I'm good friends with Tracey Edmonds. And I do remember Tracey hearing rumors about Karrueche possibly dating Deion. So she saw her at an event. I think it was Niecy Nash's event. And she, calmly, just in conversation with her, she asked her if she was dating Deion. And she said no. She laughed it off and said no. So, it was kind of like to hear it and to see this now. But look at them too. They look very cozy. Like they were friends. Like that's Tracey and Karrueche.
She's showing a picture of them hugged up on set.
Claudia, I can see the picture. Claudia.
So, I mean, here's my... Are you sure you saw it? Just so we're clear, this is not me hating on Karrueche because I'm friends with Tracey before people misconstrue it. I'm saying moving forward with women, I think we would be better off if we sometimes have the uncomfortable conversation with someone that has placed us in positions, given us opportunity. We've hung out, we've had lunch, we've had drinks. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, just so you know, I'm on some sneaky shit. It wasn't while y'all were together. And I just want to give you a heads up.
So, Claudia didn't say that Tracey asked her to share that. She didn't say if she got her permission. Some are saying that she broke girl code by revealing that Tracey looked pressed going to step to Karrueche about someone who was her ex. However, they had a working relationship. What are the boundaries as far as dating goes? And maybe the no meant not at this time. Maybe they weren't at that time and things changed. Now, some will never believe that, but, who knows? And do you owe someone an explanation just because you've had a working relationship where they have hired you? Did she owe Tracey an explanation about what's going on? I don't know. There's varied opinions on that. I don't know if I would do it, but I'm not mad that she did it, if that makes sense, depending upon the reality of their relationship. There was, something similar that happened. Like we've talked about this a little bit, Tiana Taylor and when she used to date Brandon Jennings and then he started dating actress Tay Heckard. There was conversation where Tay and Tiana friends. Same thing kind of with a couple of other people. And, Evelyn and her daughter with Tiffany. And the question becomes, especially in this social media era where sometimes you click up and take photos and you may have a parasocial relationship, maybe a kind of outside but not really close relationship. Do those things count? And is it boundary stepping? I don't know, but people certainly have conversation. Listen, thank you for locking in. Of course, each and every Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I will be back tomorrow. I'm still shaking off the weekend. Give me a break. But you know I got you. It's your front row seat to the culture right here. Coming up is the voice of reason to guide you into your evening, Zoe Williams. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Hey yo, look like I'm going for a swim. Dunked on him, now I'm swinging off the rim. Bitch ain't coming off the bench, while I'm coming off the court fully drenched. Here goes some haterade, get your thirst quenched. Style doing him in this Burberry trench. These birds copy every word, every inch. But gang got the hammer and the wrench. I pull up in that $250,000 off the lot. Oh, now she tryna be friends like I forgot. Show off my diamonds like I'm signed by the Rock. Ain't pushing out his baby's telly by the Rock. Hey yo, I been on, you been con. Bentley tints on, Fendi prints on. I mean I been storm, X-Men been formed. He keep on dialing Nicki like the Prince song. I been on, you been con. Bentley tints on, Fendi prints on. Hey yo, I been off, Laura been Croft. Play say Chung Lee, drop the bins off. Oh, I get it. They painted me out to be the bad guy. Well, it's the last time you're gonna see a bad guy do the rap game like me. I went and copped the chopsticks, put it in my bun just to pop. I'm always in the top. Box seats, bitch, fuck the gossip. How many of them could've did it with finesse? Now everybody like she really is the best. You played checkers, couldn't beat me playing chess. Now I'm about to turn around and beat my chest. Just King Kong, yes, this King Kong. Just King Kong, this is King Kong.